All right, so we're looking at the Western Conference. The Western Conference standings is definitely what we're looking at in terms of the predictions. And, it's always hard to do this, like I said in my past video, in terms of the East when I did it for the East. But, let me know in the comment section if I'm tripping or if you don't agree, if you agree, whatever the case is, we can talk about it. You already know how it goes. So, comment below. You already know. So let's go straight into that context because I give you that context. Let's go straight right into it, boy. So obviously, you know that it's tough to do these predictions, but we're gonna go with the West, and I'm just gonna slap it. I'm just gonna throw it up there, and when I throw it up there, it's gonna show you all what I have, and then I'm gonna kind of give my reasoning and break it down as we go. But you could just see off the jump, and we're gonna go like that, and let's see how it pans out. So, and you'll understand my reasoning because I'll give kind of like my logical breakdown that kind of just plays out in my brain as I try and, foresee it. And we'll go through that. So the West, let's go right into it. And boom, there's my standings like that. And obviously, I know some of y'all might be, oh my God, what's going on? There's going to be some that stand out. But let's go through it. Obviously, at the top of it, I have the Suns at number 1. And I'll do 1, 2, 3. My 1, 2, 3, as you can see there, is Suns, Jazz, Nuggets. The reason why I have Suns, Jazz, Nuggets, the Jazz, nothing should really change with the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell should be healthy. You still have the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert. Like their play style is an analytic play style that has worked. It's similar to what the Bucks used to do. Obviously different in terms of it was Giannis just running downhill. But what I mean is it's an analytic, it's a threes and paint type of play style. That's what I mean. So obviously there's different ways to get your threes and paint. Giannis with the Bucks, it was a 5-out offense. Giannis is the one getting the paint, and when you help, he kicks it out, right? And they get the threes. They changed a little bit and had more of a steady diet and shot creating. Giannis set in like different things, and that gave them the 3 seed, right? But I'm talking about the years prior in terms of the analytical, the way they play were strictly paint and threes and 1-2 mid-range here and there from Middleton or whoever. That's what you're getting with the Jazz. Not how they're getting it, but the same results in terms of paint, threes, a 1-2 mid-range from Donovan, Jordan Clarkson, you know what I mean? Maybe Conley, float or whatever, but mainly, or Bogdanovich too, here and there, pull up dependent, but mainly it's threes and paint. And it's there, they do it differently. It's not from a guy running downhill. It's from PNR, meaning that's how you use Gobert. Gobert setting the screens and rolling. You get the alley to him. If they protect the alley, now we just shoot the 3 in the gap because men's are in drop coverage, and we shoot the mid-range here and there. But that's they played a perfect analytical blend of basketball, and that's why, and their defense is elite, and rim protection is there. So that's why, regardless, they're going to be elite in the regular season, and I could see them at the number 2 seed. The reason why I don't see them at 1 seed is because I think the Suns are going to overtake them. Remember, they were neck and neck in between 1 and 2. I think the Suns, people have under the radar again. They're going to, they're not going to remember them. They're going to think, oh my God, they got to the finals fluke and whatever they're going to say, injuries and whatever, yada, yada, yada. But the point is, I'm the one who had the Suns as a top 3 seed even last year before man's even said anything, because I already seen what they were doing, the bubble and everything. And then you add the fact that they already were improving. They made their adjustments, especially when I saw the bubble. Devin Booker was already that guy. Now you gave him, reduce his playmaking duties and actually make him score. And then because you add Chris Paul, I already knew that was Chris Paul already improved the Thunder to a 4th seed when mans were thinking they were going to be Fugazi with lottery and all that type of stuff after they traded Russ and PG. And they got the 4th seed. 1 game away from the 2nd round versus Houston Rockets in game 7. Sorry, not 1 game, 1 possession. Now you give him Devin Booker, who's already an all-star. What are you talking about? With the perfect 3-and-D guys galore, and they have the perfect play style where Ayton's the roller. He's like the Rudy Gobert, right? But he could shoot a 1-2 mid if you have to. But then again, the point is, no one's clashing. You don't have multiple guys trying to get their own bucket. No. Every man's going to spot up. Every man's going to do what they're going to do. And it's only going to be Chris Paul and D-Book. When Chris Paul is out, D-Book's going to be running it and playing like a point guard, going through the gap. And then if you don't rotate, you kick it to the shooter in the corner, and they can pump fake 1 dribble, or they go to the paint and they kill. And they're young, athletic, great defense, transition. They got it. Like, it's the perfect blend. No one clashes on anyone toes. You maximize your 2 best guys every possession, which is Book and Chris Paul. As other teams, sometimes Kawhi might not get the ball because, Reggie Jackson going on, someone's going ISO. Like, that's how they do. So you don't maximize the same scenario and repeat it. They maximize their best. Chris Paul PNR, repeat. D-Book PNR, repeat. That's what they do, and one of them is in. Then when both of them is in, it's Chris Paul or D-Book. That's what it is. So that's why that's why you saw what you saw. And then now the problem was when Ayton will go to the bench, and that's for like finals and playoff situations where that perfect big 7-1 big rolling, that Rudy Gobert type rolling, then can shoot a midi. But even if he doesn't shoot a midi, just screen it and roll in, guaranteed alley in the paint, offensive rebound. Like you miss that. Now they have to play completely different when he goes to the bench, and it will be Saric coming in because Saric is not bullying like that. He's not 7'1", he's 6'9", he's shorter, a small ball center. He's gonna pop, he could shoot. So it's a difference. So now the other team could switch everything, or they could just gap and recover. They're not in drop coverage, because that's what again enables the D-Book guaranteed, because Ayton rolling, that's why you have to play drop coverage, because if you don't play drop coverage, his roll is a guaranteed alley. So you play drop coverage, and that enables D-Book and Chris Paul to kill in the midi. Like it's a chess match, right? When you look at it, when now he goes to the bench, if you have a small guy who's gonna pop, there's no drop coverage no more because he's popping. So you can either switch and you force an ISO, and obviously that benefits D-Book, but sometimes you don't have to switch. You can just gap recover and force the guy who's gonna pop to shoot, and he might not hit it all the time, right? So that is a different play style when Ayton goes to the bench. Now they're still gonna have Ayton type of play style because McGee is gonna be there off the bench. He's gonna be the same thing, pick roll. So they're gonna have the guaranteed same situation, which means that drop coverage is gonna be throughout the whole game. Throughout the whole game. So they're only gonna get better. More experience, Mikal Bridges, everyone. Then you add Landry Shamet as a shooter, right? Curling off screens, like, so they've gotten better. They've gotten better for real. So when you look at that, I think that they're gonna be number one. I think it's actually guaranteed. Number 1, 2, that's my reasons for that, right? And then number 3, the Nuggets. You already know, you don't got to say nothing. Then you add back Jamal Murray. MPJ is getting better, more seasoned, more comfortable, right? Then you add back, Jamal Murray. I don't know what point in the season, but you add him back soon time. Then I just think they're gonna be, Jokic is still there, MVP type. Like, I think they're gonna be 3 seed. I don't think they're gonna change, go down or go up. I think they're gonna be the same. The Clippers. Obviously, I have them at the 4th, but the reasons is because, even though Kawhi's injured, people are sleeping on them. You add Bledsoe, Reggie Jackson is now even more comfortable, got the bag. He's not, he's no worried. He's basically, obviously, contract year, you play your best, but now it's like, I'm here now. I'm back, yo. I'm back. After that playoffs he had, Marcus Morris is still there. You still got guys still there. You know what I'm saying? And then now, you still got, probably Luke Kennard will get more minutes. Terrence Mann, obviously a 1-2. I think, did he get injured? No, he didn't. I think he might have. I'm forgetting things. It's a blur. But you still got guys. You got Brandon Boston off the bench. Like, you still got Ibaka. You should be healthy now. Like, I think that they're going to go under the radar. But I think with injured, I think they'll still be Gucci. Then Kawhi will come back at some point. I think they'll just ramp it up even more, and they'll be the 4th seed same ways. You might have a Clippers Mavs again. That's what I'm anticipating. Mavs obviously got better. Porzingis is still there. And, maybe, and then they have a new coach. Right? New coach in the situation. So exactly. So he's coaching the Dallas Mavericks, and, him coaching them, obviously, like, he's a point guard, he's a point guard himself. So, Luka is already Luka. How much better can Luka get? But the main thing is, I'm wondering to see how they're going to make, Porzingis kind of fit better. They still got other pieces as well, too, and other additions. You already still got Tim Hardaway there, and, you still got other people as well, too. So I expect, obviously, them to be more so better. I think they're going to be a little bit better, but how much wins is that better going to be, right? That's the next question, right? So in terms of just the roster, like, what I mean? It's because it's the West, right? So them getting better, they might get a 1-2 more better in terms of, like, they might get a 1-2 more better in terms of, like, not their additions, but in terms of their wins, right? Their wins, they still got Frank Ntilikina, they got 1-2 additions, but their wins might be similar or might be a bit better. But because it's the West, how much better is that mean is going to transition to a higher seed. If you get 5 extra wins, that might not transition to a higher seed because other people have gone better as well. So I just think they're always going to be mediocre of the pack, right? Just because they don't have that high caliber, Like, and just their offense. Their offense is a Luka offense. It doesn't maximize another all-star. It's only maximizing one superstar. And that's been my knock with the Mavericks. I don't know if they change it up. They might change it up and have, Porzingis now become another all-star with him, and now they're way better, right? So that, like, they changed the offense where now it maximizes or actually enables, Porzingis more. But you never know. But if I'm going off if they're going to do the same shit they did last year with just one, two more adjustments, they'll probably still be the 5th seed. Like, there's only so much you could do with the Luka offense, right? There's only so much, right? So when you look, how much better can he be? He's already been outstanding, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, that's why I have them at the same spot. Now, the main one that's going to get people maybe uproar and Banks, what are you talking about? I have the Lakers at 6th. And to be honest, the only reason why I have the Lakers at 6th, at the 6th seed, and the only reason why I have them there, because I would actually have them lower. But the only reason I have them at 6 is because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because of LeBron. LeBron is always, if someone's going to figure out a weird chemistry experiment and a Fugazi playstyle clash, it's going to be LeBron, right? LeBron is the one who'll figure it out. He has high IQ, and he's the one who's going to, manipulate us. He's going to manipulate the situation for the better, or he's going to manipulate a weakness and make it look like a strength, even though it's a weakness, or avoid the weakness by living in the strengths. He's someone who could do that. He did that in the bubble. You saw that, obviously, especially when the Heat ran the zone. You would think that would kill them because they don't have shooting. He manipulated it. They didn't just shoot. He was forced, run to the free throw line, do this, and then pass down high, low. Like, he was manipulating, right? Avoiding the weakness and basically manipulating things to get to their strength at all times. Not only that, manipulating the in playoffs, normally you're in half court, avoiding half court more often, where now anytime they got a rebound, he's manipulating the game in terms of just now always push, big run. So they always got to the free throw line, was always living in the paint in transition, and they were killing that way. And then now the threes will fall from KCP, etc. Like, even just other situations he's always been in weirder situations or weird situations. And because his IQ is high, he figures it out. So yes, he's going to figure it out. So that's why him figuring it out, I think he's never been in this type of situation ever in his career in terms of Fugazi playstyle clash, in terms of like just him and Russ alone. So when you look at it from that, him, Russ, and then you have Dwight, and like you have just so many paint dominant guys, and they already lack shooting. You saw last year when they lacked shooting, what happened. Now you're adding more lack in terms of shooting with Westbrook. Now it's like, and Westbrook can't really be himself, so you're not maximizing Westbrook. Even though you have lack of shooting, Westbrook could go downhill because no one's clashing with Westbrook, right? That's what you saw in Houston. That's why they can still get to a 4th seed or whatever. But like, Westbrook is not being maximized, and he's living in his weakness because man's are going to force him to shoot. So I'm like, how much, even if LeBron manipulates it and finds his best way to be the best of what they are, that's only going to be a 6th seed because their play style clash is so tremendous that even if LeBron figures it out, I don't think it's going to lead to a number 1 seed compared to what other people have in the West. Other people in the West are guaranteed 20, 15, 16 threes. The Lakers aren't guaranteed that. Like, even the guys who they're listing as shooters, other than Wayne Ellington and maybe Ariza spot up, but even then, they're more so streaky. They're not less spot up shooters. They're rhythm shooters. Malik Monk, right? They're scorers playing as shooters. Kendrick Nunn, scorers playing as shooters. Carmelo Anthony, scorers playing as shooters. They could shoot, but they're more so when they have their rhythm. They're not just going to live as spot up only and shoot 40% just spotting up. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. That's why the Clippers were so elite last year, because their scorers actually became spot up shooters and they lived in that. I don't see that with the Lakers, right? I don't see that. So when you look at it from that perspective, like, people aren't going to break it down like that. They're just looking at the names and yada yada. You know what I mean? But when I look at it like that, this has makings of, remember that roster with Kobe, Dwight, Nash, and obviously you have the All-Star, you have the names, Paul Gasol, all of that, all those names, and it's like oh my God, they should be 1 seed, but they're older and they only got the 8th seed. That's what I'm smelling with the Lakers. Not necessarily 8th seed, not necessarily as old, And remember too, obviously they had injuries in terms of, the Lakers, but those Lakers with Kobe and whatever. But, you still have AD and all that type of stuff, and you still have star-studded guys. You still have them closer to their primes and all of that. But when I just look at it, and I just look at the play styles, for me, it's just the play style. Forget the names, right? The play style and how guys normally play. Like, and I'm watching preseason, I'm seeing the same exact negatives that I saw. Like, obviously, it's preseason. But when I look at it, man, even with LeBron eating, like, you're going to force them to their weaknesses. And other guys are shooting threes. Other guys are hitting. It's not like they have the greatest defensive guys in terms of, like, the older guys. Like, they're not just going to lock you up in a chair and, like, they're not doing that. Maybe only AD could pad to that, like, every play magnitude. Like, all the other guys are going to pick spots when they pad. So, like, I'm just looking at it, man. I'm just like, they just live in the paint. They're going to want to live in the paint. And in this analytic, like, they're going to struggle. I just see a lot of struggle. So, man, I see them at the 6th seed, man. And honestly, obviously, they might do better. You never know. But just looking at it, that's what I see. And that's just, how I think it's going to play out. Those are my reasons. So the Warriors obviously were 8th seed last year and they were in the play-in. I think they're going to do a bit better with Klay coming back. I think they'll be 7th seed. Just, again, if you isolate the Warriors, they could. And remember, people, it doesn't mean that you doing better, like, for instance, the Suns or, like, the Nuggets or the Clippers, like, or the Warriors. Like, even same ways where I had it with the East. Like, yes, you could be way better than you were last year as a team. But for it to translate in the standings, remember, other teams also are going to be better. So it doesn't mean the standings are you're now going to, you had Klay. If they were 8th seed last year, you had Klay, they have to be 5th seed. Look, you have to analyze who you're going to be jumping, who is also in those standings. So yes, Klay is going to make them better, way better than they were last year, but that way better might just be 1 seed jump because of the conference they're in. And that's what I see it as, because the Blazers were 6th seed last year, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they were 6th seed last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can drop. No, were they 5th seed? They were 6th seed. Sorry, they were 6th seed. Yeah. Yeah, they won first round and lost in second round. They were 6th seed last year, and they could really drop to 8th seed because, again, I just think other teams have gotten better. People are sleeping on the Blazers. I actually think it's interchangeable for even here again. I think the Lakers are stuck at 6, but the Clippers, Mavs, and maybe Blazers. Actually, sorry, I lied. 6 through 8 is interchangeable. I think 1 through 5 is, whatever. But 6 through 8, Lakers, Warriors, Blazers, I think they could flip. I think the Blazers could actually be 6, and because they're under the radar. Like, they didn't really make too much differences. Only thing is they lost Melo. Right? They lost Melo, Dennis Smith. Like, you know what I mean? They lost their like, Melo was still solid, but he was more so a role player in that offense, right? It was mainly their big threes always, right? Is always going to be Dame, CJ, Nurk, right? And then now Powell's even going to do more. Like, even though they lost Melo, Powell now is going to increase. That's why they gave him the bag. He's going to literally be their 6th man, but starter type of score. Like, his numbers are going to jump. So he could be another 20-point per game score. Because remember, Melo getting it, because he's more so older, he's only going to get that 15 to 17, 14 to 16 range. But Powell was already 20 with the Raptors. He sacrificed his 20 when he came because, there's so much guys. But now if you take away Melo, it could be addition by subtraction. Not necessarily that Melo's fugazi, because I rock with Melo. But you have a younger guy can now maximize his output as opposed to doing decent output because another guy needs output, right? But at this stage of their career, Melo's output, maximize output, right? If you just had Melo, and Powell's maximize output, if you just had Powell's going to have the higher output, right? So it makes sense why, if you had to choose one, at least go with Norman Powell, because the maximized output you're going to get from him is going to be maybe 20 to 23 range, 18 to, that's what you're going to get. So when you look at it from that perspective, people are sleeping on the Blazers. I think they're still going to be solid. Exactly. I think they're going to be where they are, but might just drop a little bit because other teams have gotten better, significantly better, right? So honestly, I think Blazers still might be 6, but it's because it's LeBron. If it wasn't LeBron, I would have Lakers 8. Honestly, I'm just being honest. And I might get ridiculed for that. I might get ethered and whatever. But again, I always see things that people don't see. And I always am the anomaly. I always die on the ledge by myself. And then man's after will be like, oh, yo, you were right, fam. It's always like that. It's always like that. So, just trust me. And even if I'm wrong, hey, at least I'd rather have the Lakers be a top seed. At least, we have bigger names in the playoffs, in finals or whatever, you know what I mean? But this whole Lakers Nets equivalent, like, it's cap. It's cap. But it is what it is, Obviously, 9 through 11, I think they're interchangeable. The Grizzlies, Pelicans, Wolves. This is the first time you haven't seen Spurs on any of my lists. The reason why Spurs are in the same way, like I was saying with the Pacers in the East video, I normally, like, Spurs were 10 last year. And normally Spurs is guaranteed in one of these. But the reason why I'm going to drop them off from not giving them the benefit is because now they lost their all-star. They didn't really have an all-star, but at least they had an all-star in terms of DeRozan. They lost that guy, right? Who is really going to get, like, you know what I mean? The Wolves, Wolves thing has been health. If they have D'Lo and they have Towns and they have Edwards making a jump, they should jump. They, Pat Bev, like, they should automatically jump as well, right? Pelicans, I think they're going to be same around the pack. They lost Lonzo, obviously, right? They lost Bledsoe as well, too. But they got Valanciunas. Ingram might make a more so jump. Zion will probably make a more jump, like, right? Now, when you get addition by subtraction because now less usage gets split. It's guaranteed. Devontae Graham, he's nice and he's a shooter. And I think they still probably be around the same spot. Grizzlies, you would normally think they would jump when you add Steven Adams and stuff like that, but the reason why I think they're in the same spot because, again, other teams have made more of a bigger impact, but I think Grizzlies, again, will be around the same pack. So that's where I have for my West standings. Obviously, I did my best I could do. I know that it's tough. How much could you really predict and kind of take everything in and kind of make a strong prediction? And how right could you be? How right could you be? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, is just I tried my best, and we'll see how it transpires. We'll see how it pans out. And obviously, this season, regardless of whatever my predictions I'm watching. It's going to be an epic season. I'm breaking it down. So again, spread the word. Stay tuned for everything else. But the season starts today, man. Get ready. Get excited, fam. We here though. Let's go on to the next, man.